Hey folks, welcome to March. It's just crazy the difference a month makes. I know I joked like last time in February it was frigid February. I think we were in single digits or negative degree feel, and now we're just kind of at the tail end of winter and we see 60 degrees on the horizon. So I know we're all looking forward to that for sure. As we get into the topics for this month, I actually want to kind of pause from our normal like tips and tricks and new things and actually just kind of do a little bit of a review for things we've talked about this year because over the last couple of weeks, there's been kind of a change that we had to do on our end for some data privacy considerations, and we had a lot of tickets and a lot of questions about it, and naturally some uncomfortable conversations we had to have. And so I just want to review all the resources we've shared this year for any folks that might be kind of struggling a little bit with this whole AI concept and some of the changes that had to happen. And I guess just to kind of frame this conversation, one of our responsibilities in technology is data privacy. We have regulations we have to follow. And for the last few years, we have a standard protocol that any resource that's used needs to have a data privacy agreement if any type of student information is shared. And that includes websites that are curriculum based, that includes research websites, or just any tools that exist out there. And the last month or so, there's been some issues, unfortunately, with data privacy and personal information being used on sites that we don't have a specific agreement for, in particular with some AI tools. And we can certainly reference a policy that is out there for AI. And over the last couple of newsletters, I've reiterated just the idea that certain tools that we don't have specific privacy agreements for may be filtered out at some point just to, again, protect our community and our privacy regulations and the data that we have. As such, like I said, there's been some difficult conversations we've had via tickets and others these last couple of weeks about different AI tools that people were used to using that might not be available right now. And just to kind of set the record for it, like I'm with you. I wish we could use everything that's available on the internet. There's a lot of great tools out there that we don't have specific licenses or requirements for in our Haverhill Public Schools hat. But the reality is that sometimes we just can't. We just don't have that ability to use everything that's out there. So our responsibility is to maintain compliance with all of our data privacy regulations. And it does go beyond what different companies put out there and they say what their policy is. We need a specifically signed agreement that guarantees no PII is used in the AI models or sold to third parties. We use a group that handles our data privacy that operates across 15 different states. And many of the popular AI tools don't subscribe or sign up with this collaborative agreement. And as such, it's become something that we can't use. And simply put, like Gemini is the only dedicated AI tool that meets the criteria. And we've recommended that from the beginning of the school year to try to stick within our Google Workspace environment for all the tools that are available to there. And honestly, on a personal level, I've used both, or all the different, tools that are out there. There's a lot of interesting ones, but from our Google Workspace and our Haverhill Public Schools standpoint, I found Gemini to work better than others in a lot of ways, just simply because it's integrated within the tools that we use all the time. And so because of this kind of conversation that we've had a lot these last couple of weeks, really what I wanted to kind of reset for all of us, and for those of you that aren't new to Gemini, but are working with peers that are like, hey, I was using this for a while and now I can't. Here's an alternative. One of the things I talk about with my team a lot, and even just in myself as we kind of explore digital tools, is to always exhaust our built-in resources before we look for extra things to play with or to work with. And so to me, Gemini and the NotebookLM, these are tools that we have available to us now. So dive deep into them, exhaust your built-in resources with them. If you're used to doing something in a different platform, try to doing the same thing here. Work within the tools that we have and see what it can do for you. And you might be pleasantly surprised at what you're able to accomplish. And so again, that being said, the reset I want to kind of work with here is just the reset of all the things that we've shared over this year so far related to the AI tip of the month month and the different resources that we worked with. And so back in September, we started the school year by linking to the policy that's there. And one of the things I've done in this newsletter is I've linked each of these articles and videos and newsletters that we've shared throughout the year. So you can stay within our iSchool newsletter. You can click all the different links. You share that with resources, share that with your peers who might be having to do a change in their workflows. And so again, September, we just started with the recommendation to use Gemini, use NotebookLM because of the new policy and the privacy that's there. In October, we went a little farther. We took a little tips in terms of using it to help you write and to craft a response or to tone management and things like that. Some tips on how to generate content, how to get into Gemini to do that. Right in the main website of Gemini, and you're working within the sidebar here to get all your content down in there. In November, we took it a little step farther and we were looking at story prompts, using Gemini to create an example story with targeted prompts. There's the storybook gem, and we talked a little bit about this gem concept that's there where you can craft the voice and what you can use that's built in to be a little bit more productive. We also took a look at using Gemini in Google Classroom. And there's just the different tools that they kind of pre-built for us to get in there. In December, we took a look at NotebookLM and just this idea of, hey, can we use AI for our own resources instead of it being an open-ended internet thing that kind of is just wide open? We can actually curate content, we can feed it content and have the AI tools work with us around our own focused resources. In January, we took a little step further at the gem concept. So instead of using a pre-built gem, we were like, okay, what can we do to actually create our own in here to create a focused voice for a specific purpose, and so that the engine that works with the AI gives us feedback that's based in that personality. And its analysis and output is more geared towards the things that you would use it for. And then last month, we talked a little bit more about the expanded classroom features. So when you're in Google Classroom and you have Gemini on the left-hand side, they keep adding new things in here. Anything from doing interactive quizzes or generating a rubric. The new thing last month was that you could create an audio podcast based on a prompt, and it saves it in a chat style message for you. So really interesting stuff that's all integrated in the things that we use on a daily basis. And so if you haven't had a chance yet to play with any of these features, I think that's what I'd encourage us all to do. If you are experienced with them and you're sensing some of the frustration from either your peers or some other folks that you work with, encourage them to go through some of these options, to test out these models, do the same things you were used to doing in other platforms and see what it can do for you. You might be pleasantly surprised at what you can do. And again, as we kind of go through this is a new world for all of us. We are working as best we can to continue to provide tools for all of us to use in a safe and a productive way. And maybe in the future we'll have more options that will expand and be available to us, even just within whatever Google gives us in the Gemini world. There might be a lot more that we could take advantage of too. But for now, let's exhaust our built-in options. Let's use what we got. And if you have any questions or need additional help with it, feel free to throw in a support ticket, book a training appointment. Be happy to discuss and brainstorm different ways. If you're used to doing something here but want to do something here, throw in a ticket. Let's ask the question, let's have a discussion, and we can see what we can do. But in the meantime, carry on. Enjoy the start of spring for sure, and we'll connect with you next month.